Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, and if you saw the thumbnail to this video, you probably know that this is my response video to my larger spread that I record earlier in the week. Yes? So I record 2 videos a week. One is my larger spread, and I'm in the middle of my deep dive into the Lenormand system. And so my larger spread is a Lenormand-based spread. And I've done that video, and now I'm doing a response to that video. In this video, I'm asking the question, what is the central message of this week's Lenormand spread? So I'm trying to distill a more essential idea, an essential message from the larger, more complex spread. And I always recommend that you go and watch that spread first. So what I'll do is I'll put a card up here, just in case you have not seen that spread. Click on that card, go watch that video. You can watch that video in bits and pieces if you want. There's no YouTube police coming to your door saying you've got to watch it to the end. Yeah, you can watch it in little bits and pieces, and then come back and watch this. Because without the foundation of that information, the way I'm reading these cards might not make as much sense. Yes? And just in case you have seen that video and you're here and you thought, oh gosh, what was that spread about? You want a little bit of a refresher. Let me remind you, the title was In a Negative Environment. Yes, and at the time of this recording, now you're seeing this a couple weeks later, I'm sure, but at the time of this recording, at the time of this spread, it was right after the US elections, which for many of us was an unhappy event. Yes? And we're feeling beaten up in many ways. And we feel like we're living in perhaps a negative environment, right? But there's still a way to live our lives intentionally. And that is the purpose of this channel, is how can we live our lives more intentionally? Here and now, every day. The best us that we can be, right? So the idea of that spread seemed to be for us to do the kind work of healing self, finding our own light within, and allowing that light to shine on those around us, to first create a less negative environment from which, with the power of intention, we can live our most intentional lives and have an effect on what we see as the darkness and the hatred around us. Does that make sense? And I think that the main idea was for us to find, instead of allowing the toxicity that we may be feeling now to pour forth and not only damage, but perhaps even destroy the relationships that we have around us. Even if it is an attempt to reconnect with people or to connect with people. The challenge is to find the light within. And allow that light to find a way out. And do the work of healing that is called for at this time. And allowing ourselves to spread kindness in a mature way. I think that was the main idea of the spread. But we'll see. Yeah, we've got some cards and decks to look at. Before we get to those cards and decks, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for doing those things that you do, for hitting the thumbs up button, for subscribing to the channel, for commenting below. All of those things are of great benefit to other people. The more you do those things, the more YouTube shows this channel to other people. And other people can find us and join us. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I thank you deeply for doing that. Also, I think I've landed on a stable and useful QR code for my online shop. So I'll put that QR code up here for you to look at. And if you're watching this video on a different device and you have your phone, you can use your phone to click on to access that QR code to bring you to my shop. And you can look around my shop, see if there's anything you want, order a reading from me, large, small, your choice. Yeah? Or if you are not able to do that, the website will be in the description box below. Yeah, it's very easy. It's just my name, DerekJohnThomas.com/shop. Not difficult at all, right? So, if you want, hop on over to my shop, hop on over to my site, and take a look. And let me know what you think, if you want. That would be great too. And friends, we're ready. I think we're ready to take a peek at this week's spread. So what I will do now is I will show you the spread. We will talk briefly about the cards. And then we will break the spread into its two component parts and read the spread together. Are you all ready? Here's the spread. So, friends, you saw two decks there, yes? The three cards on the top are from a tarot deck. It's actually a fairly old tarot deck. It's the Herbal Spirit Tarot, and it's a wonderful tarot. Basically, it's Rider-Waite Smith with some flora added onto it. It's an apothecary kind of tarot, and I decided, okay, why did I decide on this deck? I decided on this deck because I got the Oracle deck in a while ago, and it's been sitting in my library and I've wanted to use it. And I was reminded of this Oracle deck because it is created by the creator of the Lenormand deck and the Tarot deck that I use in my earlier video of this lunar cycle. So I thought, hey, let's pull out this Apothecary Oracle. And then I thought, what tarot would work well with this? And I thought of a couple of things. I actually thought of pulling out my Brady Tarot for some reason. And then it struck me, no, I've got the Herbal Spirit Tarot. Let's put those two together. Now, and then I'm actually very happy with how that worked out. So the three cards above are from a tarot deck. And those three cards are in a positional spread. Yeah? Significance, challenge, advice. That's how it's going. The three cards below from that Apothecary Oracle are, let's call them adjectives. They will modify the tarot cards above them. That was my intention when I laid this spread out. Okay? So, that's the way we're going to read them. We'll read the three tarot cards above first, and then we'll see how those three cards are modified by the oracle cards below. And we'll see a little bit of interesting interaction, I think, between the two decks, the tarot deck and the oracle deck. There's some interactions that I did not expect. So, stay tuned for that. Yeah, let's take a look at those three tarot cards first, right now. The three tarot cards you saw from left to right were the Four of Cups, the World, and the Seven of Wands. Yes? Now, interestingly, the Seven of Wands was in the earlier spread for this week in basically the same position. Yeah? The Seven of Wands in the Lenormand spread, I've got three tarot cards with the Lenormand cards in the earlier video for this week. And those 3 cards are also in the positional spread of significance, challenge, advice. And the advice for that spread was the 7 of Wands, and the advice for this spread is the 7 of Wands. You can't make this, as they say, can't make this shit up, right? So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we start off with the 4 of Cups. You know, I really do like this deck, and I don't use it very much. But the art is nice. It's an old deck. It's really not a new deck. It's an old deck, but I think it has stood the test of time. I think it could be up there with the Morgan Greer or the Aquarian Tarot very easily. It's a beautiful deck. It's wonderfully drawn. It's got the symbolism. It's got the Smith-Waite concepts. It's all there and more. So, the 4 of Cups. This is Moon in Cancer, by the way. And so what does that mean? That means that we have cardinal waters, vital attributes entering our spread. Cardinal waters, yeah? Cardinal water, moving forward, getting stuff done, starting off stuff emotionally. Spiritually even, maybe. Right? So the 4 of Cups card asks us to turn our attention inward, away from the external distractions, and find inner peace. Kind of what a lot of what I thought. I mean, I could have just pulled one card and I think summed up the earlier spread, and I think this card really does do that, right? So this is a card for meditation, for introspection, for reflection, contemplation. It's also a card of apathy and ennui, being bored with what we have, not noticing the new thing that's being offered, right? So you see the woman here, seated, yes, she is seated on the ground underneath a plant. A very small looking woman compared to the huge plant beside her. That plant's actually, for us in the real world, a very small plant, but she's even smaller. And the 3 cups on the ground, and there's the one, as usual, in the sky being held out by spirit, and she's not really noticing it, right? So we're asked to see the true value in life, but I think we're also asked to see the thing that is being offered by spirit. Notice the cup that's being offered by the divine, by our eternal natures, by our higher self, if that's the thing that floats your boat. I don't like that term, higher self, because that self is neither higher nor lower, nor farther nor nearer. That it is just the self. It's our eternal nature, right? So our eternal nature, the divine, is here handing us or showing us a new full cup, and we're not necessarily paying attention to it. And so that idea, meditation, and I usually put the 4 of Swords with meditation, but here we've got some meditation, introspection, drawing our attention inward to, again, find our inner peace, which isn't all that exciting, but is at this moment in time going to be very beneficial. And the plant associated here is the burdock, which gives us opportunities for healing. Yes, healing, especially with our emotions, healing emotions. It relieves anger, aggression, bias, also stagnation, and allows those things to be transformed into perhaps peace, love, joy, well-being, pure awareness. It's a transformational herb. That's what we're called. That is what we're called to do. This could have been the advice card, but that is what I think we're called to right now. And the next card is what? The challenge. The challenge is the world, and I love this world card. You don't see the lady in the middle. What do we see in the middle? We see the plant, which is comfy. Yeah, comfy. Interesting, right? Now, we usually see the four, the four cherubs, the four evangelists, the four winds around the corner of the world card, right? We'd see the lion for Leo or also for Mark. We'd see the angel for Luke or Aquarius, the fixed signs, right? We'd see Taurus. I'm sorry, wait a second. Taurus is the bull, and the bull is Matthew. Yeah. And then we'd see, no, okay, I'm getting my gospels mixed up. And we'd also see the, which fixed sign am I missing? I'm missing, Scorpio. Well, we'd see the eagle for Scorpio, which would also be John. Okay, so anyways. No, John is, okay, I've got my evangelists mixed up with their creatures. But anyways, those four beings, the bull, the eagle, the angel, the lion, are also the four winds. They're the four zodiacal signs. They're the four cherubim. They're the four evangelists. They're all of those things. But here, what do we see? We see the elements. We see the sun up there in the sky for fire. We see the clouds in the sky for air. Yeah? Do you see the water? Oh, sorry. Do you see the water here on this side? That's the water for the element of water. And then we see the earth as well. So we got the four elements replacing the four creatures. So we've got everything basically we need here. And we get the Ouroboros, that oval there, as well, around the comfy plant. It's all very interesting. I think very full in a very different, full of symbol in a different way than the card drawn by Pamela Coleman Smith. So we still have the ideas of fulfillment here, completion, seeing the whole picture, integration. We have the idea of accomplishment as well. Now, we want to be our own masterpiece. We want to allow the consummation of time to be, the fulfillment to be here and now. And the creator of this deck also asks us to give from spirit, to joyfully participate in creation with this card. So that's the challenge, I think, to joyfully participate in creation. To unify all of the elements, to manifest spirit here on earth. That is the challenge, as that is the positive challenge, right? To find fulfillment and completion where we are, right here, right now, and to see the full picture. The advice card from the earlier spread this week was the Two of Swords with the blindfolded woman, and I thought the positive challenge was to take that blindfold off, and this card emphasizes that, right? It's to see the whole picture, to integrate the fragmented parts that we feel. The parts that we feel have been fragmented. We want to integrate ourselves. Now, comfy, what is comfy? Comfy is a plat for pulling segments together to make a whole. W-H-O-L-E, to make a whole. That is the challenge, to make a whole first here of the parts that feel fragmented. And then when we don't have to wait till this is accomplished, but the other step is to start bringing the fragmented pieces of community back into a whole. W-H-O-L-E. So comfy is all in unity with divine creativity. We want to focus and we want to allow our focus and our presence to create joyful manifestations. Yeah? Our focus and our presence will allow our vision to joyfully manifest in the world. Our focus, seeing clearly, seeing precisely, our presence, being here. Not reacting here, but being here together will allow our vision of the life we are intending for ourselves and for the community to joyfully manifest. That is the challenge, through comfy as well. Now the planet here is Saturn, which also gives us boundaries and limitations. But those limitations can be positive things. We remember in the earlier spread this week, we had the feeling of our boundaries being eaten away, and the toxic stuff within flowing forth. Saturn here gives us the challenge of establishing our boundaries and doing all of that as well, right? And pulling our segments together and helping the segments of the community to be drawn together as well, to create a whole, right? To joyfully participate in creation as we have reconstructed our boundaries, our porous but strong boundaries, not brick walls, but porous and strong boundaries. Does that make sense? The next card we have is what? The advice, Seven of Wands, which is Mars in Leo. Interesting. Yeah, which gives us the cardinal aspect of fixed fire's vital attributes entering our reading here. The advice is the cardinal aspect, Aries aspects, the Aries house, the Aries decadent of Leo, tells us to be active, go out, try the new things with the proud, generous, playful spirit of a Leo. That's the playful, generous Leo who's going out and doing stuff. Being creative, trying new things. And this is a card of challenge, right? Of cultivating challenge to confront problems. We can face we can face the environment we exist in with this card. To face the problems that we see. To rediscover our revolutionary spirit and our independence. And our ability to protect others as well. Or protect ourselves and protect others. To have perseverance. To have resistance to things that might be attacking us without being paranoid, without going out and doing the opposite, attacking other people. If somebody actually comes and attacks us, we have the resistance to withstand that. But we're not being paranoid and cowering in our bunkers, nor are we angrily waiting for the next attack. We are here present knowing that we are safe because we have boundaries. We are tenacious. We have inner strength. We hold fast to what we believe. And we don't force our beliefs on other people either. Right? We can influence other people's by owning our beliefs, but we don't force other people to believe the same things that we believe either. We don't go out and become the attackers either, right? Now the plant here is wild ginger. And you see that, right? The ginger standing above the guy holding the stick, with the 6 sticks coming up from below, which could be coming up from our own subconscious, just saying. So wild ginger tells us, don't lose heart, even in the darkest, densest moments. Yeah, that's the advice for now. Be brave, face our fears, and find our spiritual tenacity. What could be more perfect advice for right here and right now? Yeah? I'm just saying. These two spreads all weave together into one profound statement, I believe. Now we've still got 3 more cards to look at. Are you all ready for those 3 oracle cards? Well, friends, here they are right now. Friends, from left to right, you saw 3 plants. Yes, you had the marshmallow, we have the tea plant, and then we have the pomegranate. Very interesting. Yes, I think it's interesting. And we're starting off with marshmallow. This is the beautiful marshmallow card, again by Thomas of the Hermit's Mirror, who also created the Lenormand deck and the Tarot decks that I'm using for my larger spread this lunar cycle. Wonderful artist, wonderful work. And the marshmallow card, what is this? This is security, refuge, and sanctuary. Yes? We see this guy, or this being, let's say, it could be a guy, it looks like a man's body to me, but it could be an intersex person or a woman, for all I know. But this person is standing up there being protected by the marshmallow plant, but also seems to be supporting the leaf above him, her, it, them, right? So again, security, refuge, sanctuary. Marshmallow adds moisture and it helps digestion, which will help us now because there's a lot for us to digest right now, right? It's a light in the darkness. The marshmallow is associated with the planet, with the stellar body, the moon. Remember, it's right below the moon in Cancer. So this really emphasizes that the moon aspect, the light in the darkness. Motherhood. It's okay to retreat and surround ourselves with things that bring us joy, to do the healing. So that is what is amplifying the Four of Cups card, right? So we turn our attention inward, away from the external distractions, to find our inner peace, to find our inner light. With the marshmallow plant, we do the healing. It's okay to retreat, to surround ourselves with things that bring us joy. And that joy that we find in the things that we surround ourselves with will allow us to do that healing. Right? To relieve that anger, to transform that anger, the aggression, the bias, the feelings of stagnation into something pure and beautiful and healing and loving and well for ourselves. And then that wellness can leak out and infect those around us. Yes? And so what do we have next? The next card is the tea card. Do you drink tea? If you drink... Okay, so what does tea mean? This is the tea plant. So those things from the tea plant are both black tea, white tea, and green tea. Are all indicated here. I drink tea in the largest sense these days at night while I do my journaling. But I don't drink this kind of tea. I drink chamomile tea, Tulsi tea, what else? Rooibos, those kinds of teas. Yeah, but that's not what this card is indicating. It's indicating the tea plant, which is a plant of ritual, ceremony, and tradition. Think tea ceremonies in the East, Korea, Japan, right? Think also how tea is ritualized in the West, right? There are high teas in England. There are the ways teas are ritualized in other parts of Europe. The way that everyone might have their own ritual for preparing tea. Yeah, especially those of us who do more than just the tea bag, who have like loose tea. Boiling of the water, placing the water in a tea kettle or a teapot, the placing of the tea in with the water, how much time, how much, all of those things can become ritualized, right? So, this tea card gives us diverse rituals for diverse traditions. Tea rituals, East and West. My ritual, your ritual can be very different, and that's wonderful. So we're asked to find a way to create a ceremony for the situation now. How are we holding to our traditions? Are we holding to them in a positive, supportive way, or are we holding to them in a negative, tenacious way of beating other people down with them? Yeah? How are we acting with intention and creating opportunities for magical experiences? Are we acting with intention in the world and creating magic, or are we not? Are we being reactive? And that is describing the world card, right? So, fulfillment, completion, creating with spirit, with focus and presence, joyfully in the world. We want to ritualize that, find ceremony for that, do that work through our own personal traditions, whatever they are. Whether they're familial traditions, cultural traditions, or our own personally created traditions, we want to allow that creative work to flow through those traditions and allow those traditions to support the creative work that we're doing. And allow ourselves to do this work with intention. And creating opportunities for magical experiences as we do the creative work of unity, of unifying the elements of self and unifying the elements in the world to create and manifest spirit. Not create spirit, but to manifest spirit and to create. That's wonderful advice. Yes, we can find, so we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to try and figure out something absolutely new. We have traditions that we can allow to support us in the work, in the presence, in the creation that we are challenged to do. Right? And again, those traditions can be familial traditions, they can be cultural traditions, they can be personal traditions that we have created from the past. Search around those storage cabinets of traditions that we have and make use of them creatively, with intention, magically. And then the third card is the pomegranate. And the pomegranate is ruby red, right? Which is interesting because the ruby is the stone for Leo. Remember Mars in Leo here. This is the Martian decanate, the third decanate of Leo. The Aries decanate of Leo, which has the birthstone of ruby. I know that because my sun sign is Leo. So the pomegranate, what? This is the fruit of charity, generosity, very leonine qualities, right? Charity, generosity, and self-sacrifice. And Leos can do that, yeah? Whether you recognize it or not, Leos can be self-sacrificing. It's a fruit of fertility, think Persephone, wealth, prosperity, and the balance of life and death, which is interesting, which calls to mind again Persephone, right? Who goes down into the underworld and meets Hades, and her mom, Demeter, up above, is crying and wailing, and so we get winter, because she is the goddess of harvests and plants and life. So her daughter is down in the underworld. She misses her. We get winter. And Persephone says, I want to go up and see my mom, and I want to go back to my mom. And Hades says, okay, you can go, but here, have some pomegranate. And because she takes some of the pomegranate, it means she always has to return. So there's the balance of the time on earth for life and the time in the underworld for death, and both of them have meaning. Both of them have importance. And so balance is the best. A time to be born and a time to die for all things. And there's a balance for that here in the pomegranate card. So we are asked to check in with our own stores of wealth and ask, what can we give with this card? What can we share? Remember that fruit basket, the fruit card in the earlier spread of this week, right? What can we give? What can we share? What sacrifices can be made for the benefit of others? Because with abundance comes responsibility. So we're asked to give kindness with no expectation of reward. That's the advice. But we do this when we are ready, when we don't have the stores to give, when our stores are bare, our inner storage areas, our stores are bare, that we don't have anything to give. But when we have abundance in our storage place, after we've done the healing, and we have kindness to share, then it's time we're called to share, to give, to give of our abundance. And that is what's describing this card, right? So we find our safe space. We own our safe space. We own our independence. We find our inner strength. We find our tenacity. And then we share. That is the advice for this week's spread, I think. For both of these videos this week. That is the advice. Yeah, we find our place, but it's not just this on its own. It's not just, we find our safe space. We find our resilience. We find our ability to oppose that which is coming towards us. And we're, right? It's this and sharing and giving. Once we've taken care of ourselves, we open up to share with those around us. We share our fertility, the fertility of the muse from the earlier spread, right? Our inner genius. We can share of that and recreate kindness in the world. Be the infective agent of kindness in the world around us. Be kind, be generous, be open, share what we have. And if what we have is if we don't have the material goods to share love. Be polite, be kind. And don't expect kindness and politeness back in return. When it does come back, yay! When it does not come back, it's okay. We got to be ready for that. We want to be ready. That's the advice, to be ready for that. But do as much as we can. Not doing it for the result, but doing it when we're ready, when we've done the healing work. That is the advice. Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about this, because this is a time of discomfort in the world. Now, in a negative environment, in a time of discomfort, there is a way. There is always a way. And we can be the agents of that way. Intentionally. So friends, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you for sharing this space with me. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.